And you don't think that this supports the idea that there were extinction events?
No. I think it starts with the assumption that evolution is true. It starts with the assumption that the geologic column means something. It starts with the assumption that sedimentation takes place, single layer at a time. All of those have been discredited.
How do you explain those materials being in between fossil-bearing strata?
Oh, it's a worldwide flood in the days of Noah.
No. I don't see how a flood is going to deposit iridium in between fossil-bearing strata.
Well, first, I don't know that iridium is between fossil-bearing strata in every case.
Fossil-bearing strata. This is a fact.
It's a fact in a few places of the Earth. It's not a fact that it's all over the world. Okay.
Actually, I think you're wrong about that, but even if you were correct, it wouldn't matter.
I know if you go off the coast of Florida, near Miami, you can drill out there.
Even if you were right, it wouldn't matter, because if you have a meteor impact that hits somewhere in the world, you can deposit materials from the impact in a local area and still cause extinction.
So your theory is too flexible then to really be a theory. It's not falsifiable.
No. I'm giving you a plausible explanation, and you have not yet given me an explanation for how a water flood could deposit iridium between fossil-bearing strata.
Okay, I found an article by geochemist.
Think what you just said, though. You said, if we find it in only local areas, that proves my theory. If we find it all over the world, that proves my theory. Your theory is too flexible.
No.
That's exactly what you implied.
Kind of impact.
Okay, Jonathan, go ahead.
I was just going to say that I went to Answers in Genesis and typed in iridium layer and found that there are several articles by Michael Ord, who's an atmospheric scientist. There are several articles by Jonathan Sarfati, who's a chemist, all on this subject of the iridium layer that you're referring to. So if you'd like a more in-depth thing, then that might be the place to go.
But anyway, like I said, it is global. There is at least one case where it is global. This is a fact.
Well, I don't think it's a fact. I think somebody told you that.
This is a fact of geology.
Hey, they've never drilled...
nothing to do with evolutionary theory at all.
They've never drilled in my yard to see if it's here. You don't know that it's a fact. It's not possible.
Ever hear of statistics, Tim?
Yeah, it's not possible for you to know such a thing as a fact. I mean, think about it.
You don't have... this is the purpose of statistics. You don't have to sample every square foot of the Earth to know that it's happening all over the Earth. You take a statistical sample.
I know of two places where it's been found, off the coast of Florida and near Yucatan, Mexico. If there are other places, there may be. I don't know. But first of all, I would challenge you to prove your point. But even
I will go read up on this and prove it to you. And then what will you say to me?
Okay. If it is found all over the Earth, I will say exactly what you said, only from the other side. Well, this proves creation. This proves there was a meteor shower depositing iridium.
Tell me how it fits in with creation. First of all, tell me how creation predicts this, because just fitting in with creation is not enough.
Creation predicts that there will be, because of the flood, there will be thousands of layers of sediment deposited all over the world.
That's not exactly clear anyway, but even if I give you that, go ahead.
That's what a flood would do. You get a global...
I'm not sure about that. Let me interrupt you with this whole idea.
Okay, well, real quick, you can check out the experiments by Guy Berthold, who had, hydrologic chambers that actually show that this is what a flood would do. You can actually watch the video of it. It's called Experiment in Stratification.
Jonathan, you get sorting, okay? I took chemistry. I've used centrifuge machines and such. I know how these things can happen. It happens according to density and according to solubility, things like that. It doesn't happen according to a pattern that fits with the evolutionary theory. You have these fossils in a very specific pattern.
No, you don't. First of all,
it does not make any sense in the flood.
Okay, I don't know. Who taught you they're in a specific pattern? Now, that's where you got lied to. Okay,
they are in a specific... You never find trilobites with hominids, for instance, as
you need to
pointed out.
Now, if you did, what would that matter? We find coelacanths with hominids.
Still alive.
So, all you would say is, you found a trilobite with a hominid.
Coelacanths are still alive. Why are there 65 million years of no coelacanth fossils being found?
It doesn't matter if we find a trilobite.
I think they got isolated in a particular part of the world.
Now, see, you could say the same thing for any trilobite. Your whole argument about the trilobite found with the human or hominid fossil is irrelevant, because if we found one, you could say, who cares? That can happen.
If you found trilobites in the same bedding plane as hominid, you would turn the theory of evolution upside down.
Well, wonderful.
You would be a rich guy.
I'm sure they would probably say that about coelacanths.
Well, hold it. We had some.
No, Jonathan, hold on. Let me count this. The trilobite is one of the most ancient creatures on the face of the Earth. It's Cambrian era.
We had some sent alive to us a month ago.
A trilobite?
They're in my museum. They died.
No, sir. No, you're lying, Ken.
You need to come down to Dinosaur
No,
Adventureland.
sir.
Pensacola.
No. Trilobites
Look at this. Jared. You see how adamant you are. It doesn't matter if we found one.
You are saying something that is demonstrably false.
Hold on 1 second, dude. And first of all, you can't say it's false that none of them are anywhere with a human because you don't know that. You suspect
No, we just never found any.
Okay, well then you don't know that it's false.
Let me make one point here. Jared would have made the exact same reaction in 1938 when they found the living coelacanths. He would have said, "You are lying. There are no coelacanths. They've been dead for 325 million years. Our theory predicts it." He would have been just as dogmatic on the coelacanths. So, I'm sorry, you're the one that's mistaken.
No. There has been so much room in the geological column for trilobites to show up again. The Cambrian is like the second earliest rock layer.
According to what somebody taught you.
Cambrian, pre-Cambrian, it doesn't get much lower than that. We're talking like Burgess Shale creatures.
Oh, I understand what you're talking about.
This is 500 million years old.
No, that's what you were taught. See, I taught earth science myself. The Cambrian layer doesn't exist. It's the whole geologic column.
Exist.
The whole geologic column doesn't exist. They find a layer of rock, and they name the layer of rock based on the types of fossils they find in it.
Do you honestly believe that if you found a trilobite, okay, you said that you have, but I mean, don't you think that if you found a trilobite, that you would at least upset some evolutionists?
You're upset.
No, I'm upset because you're parading around some false evidence. I really don't believe you that that's the trilobite. I don't believe you. You would have to prove it to me.
Oh, I'm sure I would have to prove it to you, and just like I would have to prove the coelacanths, 50 years ago.
No, hold on.
Or the living dinosaur.
No. The coelacanths aren't that old.
65 million years old.
No,
yeah, over a couple hundred million years old.
First of all, hold on. The coelacanths that are living, the so-called living fossils, are not the same coelacanths that are in the geological column.
Right. The dead ones are dead, and the living ones are living. So they're not the same.
They are.
And it doesn't stop there. You have the woolly pine tree. You have the tuataris. You have so many different types of quote living fossils that just don't show up between there and here. Yet they're here.
And why does it take so long to find them?
Well, who's doing the looking? Somebody with a government grant out there to prove evolution is looking. He doesn't want to find something that upset his grant money. Man, he's got to pay for his Porsche.
What I'm trying to say is that these things that we think go extinct, we think that they went extinct because they're very hard to find. They get isolated into small pockets on the earth, and humans don't, go out looking every square foot like that.
Okay, so are you at least willing to entertain the idea that maybe there was a small pocket of trilobites somewhere on this earth?
If there were...
Not if there were. Are you at least open to that possibility?
I'm open to the possibility, but here's what would happen.
Well, you were just saying it's a demonstrable fact that they're not alive today.
No, okay, look.
You can't know something like that. You'd have to be every place to know that.
I don't think that what you think is a trilobite is a trilobite. If it were, I think that I would have heard about it by now from, every news source in the world. That would be the most shattering blow to evolution.
No, in 4 years, they would have no problem.
Think about what you're saying. Evolutionary theory talks about...
is old. It's 65 million plus years old.
What's the Wallaby pine?
The Wallaby pine, I have no idea how old that is. That sucker's old, too.
And they found the four still alive in Australia.
First of all, the coelacanth that we have today that we found is different. It has evolved.
It has evolved?
Not the same. It's just not changed very much. And they have an explanation for that.
Of course
it was so well adapted to its local environment that it didn't need to change very much. There was no selective advantage for it to change.
Which is what the story would be for any trilobite or any trilobite-like creature.
The trilobite is so
We've got a break right now. We'll bring you right back, I guess, in a few minutes.
All right. Stay tuned, folks. Check out DrDino.com. Got a lot of new articles out there. We'll be back after the break.